Hello, welcome to Whether or Not. We had a brief cold snap here in State College over the weekend, but it has warmed back up. We will see if that is going to be sticking around in the future when we have Michael Spagnolo bringing you your weekend forecast. We also have Rodden here with a feature on naming winter storms and some nature in the news stories about wildfires and hurricanes. So sit back, relax, as Whether or Not starts right now. Hello, welcome to Whether or Not. I'm your host, Brian Mastro.
And I'm your forecaster, Michael Spagnolo. It turned out to be really great weather for outdoor plans Tuesday, Wednesday, and even on Thursday of this week.
Yeah, I was able to get out to the baseball game on Tuesday night. It was great weather here in central Pennsylvania. And how long is that going to be sticking around for us?
We're going to have a brief cool down on Friday, but temperatures should quickly rebound in the upcoming weekend. I'll have all the details on this weekend's forecast in just a few minutes.
Luckily, nowhere near as cool as last weekend. We'll get to all that in a second. But for now, let's check out some nature in the news.
Caribbean pine trees, along with ancient shipwrecks, are being used to fill in some of the historical hurricane records in the Caribbean Sea to over 300 years ago. When a hurricane hits one of the many islands in the Caribbean, it can bring a storm surge along with it. The storm surge is made up of salt water, and for a short time after the hurricane hits, the salt water makes up a large amount of the water content in the soil. The pine tree also loses their needles in the hurricane's winds, and this salt water and the loss of needles slows the tree's growth for a short period of time. This becomes visible in the decreased spacing of the tree's rings. The scientists from the University of Arizona also looked at Spanish shipwreck databases, investigating shipwrecks during hurricane season not caused by pirates as a way to identify hurricanes and where they tracked. These two methods allowed the scientists to build a rough record of the hurricane activity back to 1495.
Wildfires are burning across portions of Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Kansas. Dry conditions coupled with wind gusts around 30 miles per hour have allowed the fires to spread rapidly. So far, no homes have been burned despite thousands of acres being engulfed in the fire. However, multiple evacuations have been ordered to get people out of harm's way. National Weather Service has much of the region under an extreme risk for fire weather for the next few days and warns that more fires are possible and that new and existing fires are likely to spread very rapidly. Additionally, the Oklahoma Forestry Services warned local fire departments that conditions would worsen through the afternoon and evening hours, with winds expected to shift and spread existing fires in new directions. Hundreds of firefighters are battling the blaze, trying to get it under control and stop the spread of the fire.
Eastern and Southern Africa is facing its worst drought in some 60 years. The drought has been ongoing since late 2015 and is likely tied to this winter's record-breaking El Nino. The United Nations has officially declared a famine in parts of Somalia, and parts of Kenya and Ethiopia are not too far behind. The extreme lack of rainfall has caused a complete crop failure and a mass death of livestock, leaving massive food shortages for the entire region. Humanitarian aid of food and water is what many at refugee camps are relying on to survive. Over 1.5 million people have been displaced so far, with over 10 million estimated to be in need of immediate food assistance as a result of the drought.
Seniors at State College Area High School have developed a way to grow plants in a vertical garden without sunlight, limited water, and without dirt. This new method of growing indoors in confined spaces allows them to save a significant amount of water. The students say that growing with this method allows them to use 95% less water than traditional growing methods. This method of growing can be widely used in areas that lack water, such as the Middle East, and areas where space is limited, such as large cities. This method of vertical growing, along with rooftop farming, has become popular in recent years in New York City. To make up for the lack of sunlight, the students use LED lights to provide light to the crops, and they also plant the seeds in moistened styrofoam to make up for the lack of dirt. All of this allows the crops to be grown virtually anywhere in any sort of climate.
The nice weather did not stick around for the daytime here on Friday for tomorrow, but this weekend looks like it should shape up to be pretty nice with a good bit of sunshine and temperatures rebounding back into the 50s. So for your day on Friday, here's the cold front coming across parts of Pennsylvania. During the midday hours, it'll be moving through State College and then across eastern Pennsylvania later on in the evening. Rain showers should taper off here by about the noon hour in State College and will linger a little bit longer during the day in eastern parts of the state. Could be a few flurries and lake effect snow showers in north central and northwestern Pennsylvania behind this storm system, but high pressure will be quickly building in out of the west, so will begin to dry out and likely have a few peaks of sunshine late in the day on Friday. For the day on Saturday, the high pressure begins to build in. We'll have plenty of sunshine underneath of that high. Warm sunshine will bring us temperatures up into the middle 50s, be a pretty mild day on Saturday, a great day to get outdoors. And then on Saturday, as that high pressure moves off the coast, we'll have a warm breeze out of the south. We'll bring in a few more clouds with it, but temperatures should be a few degrees warmer on Saturday, or on Sunday rather, than they were on Sunday, likely approaching the 60-degree mark. Our next storm system was out to the west, coming out of the Great Lakes. That, however, will not impact us until the daytime hours on Monday. So here's your forecast. For the day on Friday, 50 degrees, rain showers in the morning, they'll taper by about noon, remaining cloudy throughout the course of the day. Could see a few peaks of sunshine by your evening commute on Friday. Friday night, temperatures do drop below freezing, partly cloudy skies, 31 degrees. Could be a few bits of frost in spots. And then for Saturday, plenty of sunshine, a really great day, high of 56 degrees. And then Saturday night, temperatures drop just a little bit, 38 degrees, partly cloudy skies. And then we'll warm up nicely on Sunday with a few more of those clouds hanging around with a high temperature of 58 degrees. And that's your forecast for the upcoming weekend. Here is Ann Rodden with the feature on naming winter storms.
Here they are. This is the full list of the Weather Channel's winter storm names.
And we start with Atlas, which we could see in the coming days, and we'll end with Zephyr. Last year's big storm was Nemo. This year, the end storm will be named Mika.
The Weather Channel began naming winter storms during the 2012-2013 winter season. A panel of meteorologists at the television network came up with a criteria a winter storm must meet in order to be assigned a name. As of the winter of 2015 to 16, the network will name a storm if 2 million people or 400 square kilometers of land are covered by an official winter storm warning by the National Weather Service.
I'm Marshall Moss, and I am the Vice President for Forecasting Operations at AccuWeather. But when a private company names winter storms, that can lead to confusion for the public and the community. Think about it. Multiple companies named storms, there's confusion all over the place. We'd rather make sure that we're relaying to people what the impact of the weather is going to be on them and bring superior accuracy to them to help them make the right decisions than have them worry about the confusion around names.
By naming these winter storms, we raise the awareness of people to high impact winter weather situations across the nation. If you're traveling, you're going to be able to adjust your plans by knowing what that storm is going to do. If you're in a locale in an area and you got to get the kids to school or get to work on the next day, attaching that name to that storm and raising that identity of that storm is going to help communicate so that you can be prepared and you can adjust your plans and remain safe.
The Weather Channel's winter storm naming system is based on how many people or how much real estate is affected by the worst part of a storm. It is not based on meteorological science. A localized but extremely impactful winter storm could affect 1 million people, but since it doesn't reach that 2 million population requirement, it wouldn't receive a name.
The National Hurricane Center, along with the rest of the meteorological community, has agreed on scientific standards for when a tropical system would be named. Such standards haven't been agreed to within the meteorological community. Right now, some of those standards include how many people are impacted, and we don't feel that that is good science. Good science is more along the lines of making sure that whoever's in the path of the system is protected and informed in the same way. Many of the storms that are the worst right now don't get a name. For example, the 7 feet of snow that fell south of Buffalo in the lake effect did not have a storm name. A freezing drizzle outbreak just before rush hour, which could be one of the worst meteorological phenomena, would not get a storm name. We want to make sure, again, that everybody is prepared for what's going to happen to them and has it communicated to them with superior accuracy.
The The Weather Channel insists that calling a winter storm by name instead of simply referring to it as generic terms will assist people in keeping track of significant snow and ice in their area, helping meteorologists convey hazards to the public and allowing people in harm's way to easily track threats to their safety.
That have said that, when you attach a name to something, when you put a label on it, it is easier to follow, especially in this world of social media. We had over 1 billion hits through social media on our storms last year, and we will be following these storms by hashtagging them on Twitter and through other social outlets.
Those in favor of naming winter storms argue that these names help people with the preparation in advance. Entities from the U.S. government, which include NOAA and National Weather Service, have also weighed in, stating they will not be naming winter storms, and they have asked others to refrain also from doing so. Despite these requests, though, the issues with the naming of winter storm continues to come up yearly with various names dubbed by the media. Just how long will the battle of naming winter storms continue? For Whether or Not, I'm Ann Rodden.
Thank you for that feature, and we do not have, even in the extended outlook, any chances of snow in our forecast, whether from a named storm or otherwise. Of course, here's a recap on your weekend forecast that we had just a few minutes ago. A few showers possible during the day on Friday. Again, a few peaks of sunshine possible by the evening commute. Otherwise, it will be a pretty cloudy day. High temperature of 50 degrees will be a low of 31 degrees below freezing Friday night. During the day on Saturday, sunny, considerably warmer. Temperatures will be getting up into the middle 50s. And then for your day on Sunday, after a bit of a chilly start into the low 40s, we'll have high temperatures getting close to the 60-degree mark here in State College with a few more clouds hanging around. Now, taking a look at your extended forecast, the big story from this upcoming week is going to be the above average temperatures that are going to continue. So you saw from our almanac, average temperature this year is now getting into the 50s for our highs during the afternoon. We should be staying, though, high temperatures above 55 degrees, if not closer to 65 degrees by the middle of next week. As I mentioned, we'll have a storm system that will impact us during the day on Monday, likely bring a few rain showers with it, and then we could be looking at another storm system impacting us later on in the week. Now, real quick, I did want to mention our March snowfall totals as we do approach the end of March, and we're getting farther and farther into spring, so it's getting harder for us to see any significant snowfalls. For the month of March, so far in 2016, we've seen 0.2 inches of snowfall. That is considerably below our average for the month of March, which is 10.1 inches. Last March, we saw 7.8 inches of snow. And looking ahead, it does not look like we're going to see any snowfall over the next couple of days. Of course, we're still on track to have our least snowiest State College winter on record.
Thank you for that, Michael. I know I'm not complaining about the lack of snowfall we've had here in central Pennsylvania, especially after how brutally cold it was here in central Pennsylvania just last year.
And even the winter before that. They're both my first two winters here in State College, and it's definitely something I'm going to remember for the years to come.
Yeah, luckily we are getting a little bit warmer now. However, that does bring the increased risk of some fires here in central Pennsylvania as well, which brings us to our Weather Whiz quiz. What is the name of the index used in the prediction of conditions for the development of wildfires? Is it A, the Fosberg Index, B, the Heat Index, C, the Torcon Index, or D, the Nisus Index? If you guessed A, the Fosberg Index, you are correct.
The Fosberg Index is also referred to as the Fire Weather Index, or FWI for short. In this past week, with a string of sunny days, low relative humidities, and a little bit of a gusty breeze, it made the increased fire danger across Pennsylvania, especially in the eastern parts, but with rainfall in the forecast over the next weekend or so, definitely going to diminish that fire chance.
That is good to hear, and we will continue to monitor the chances of wildfires throughout the rest of the spring and into the summer as well. That's all we have for you for this show of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Brian Mastro.
And I'm your forecaster, Michael Spagnolo. Have a great rest of the day.